Ready? Okay. Ms. Crockett. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Franklin. Davis. Here. Etherly.
Here.
Ford. Rocket. St. Columbia.
Here.
4 present, 2 absent.
We have a quorum. And if you'd all turn your attention to tonight's agenda. We had the call to order, prayer and pledge, and the roll call. At this time, I would ask everyone to take a look at your minutes.
We don't have
We
any
them
minutes.
yet.
You don't have,
No.
there are no minutes, so we will move on to the treasurer's report.
I have March's treasurer's report. If you have any questions, I can answer any questions, but I handed it out
Last meeting.
a couple weeks ago. There was,
We're supposed to have a copy of the report.
We got it last month.
Oh.
Last-
they put this
Okay.
on here every meeting, Joe.
Yeah,
It's the same.
It's on every meeting.
yeah.
So if you have any questions from the prior report,
Okay,
that's what I'm asking.
no question.
Are there any questions from the body regarding the treasurer's report?
The prior report.
And
No,
are there any questions from the body regarding the treasurer's report?
Not at this time.
And if there are no questions, Mr. Treasurer, are there any issues with the report that we need to be aware of?
not. No.
We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. We have a guest representative from the Housing Authority regarding the city raising structures for them, and is our guest here? Come forward. Could somebody reach and close that door? Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, council. I'm David Gates. I'm with the Helena-West Housing Authority. Brought along with me Steve Clark. He's a development consultant member of the team there with the Housing Authority, and he's actually going to talk to you a little about the IGA that we've sent over to the city. Steve?
Thank you. The Housing Authority is going through a process of evaluating the stock and what needs to happen. And as we all know, they've got some properties that are burnt that need to be brought down. So we are working with and trying to enter into an agreement with the city. The city would like to be the demolition contractor. And we have no problem with that at all. So we put together an intergovernmental agreement for the consideration of the mayor and council for the city to be the demolition contractor for 54 units of housing. And the contract is for $5 per square foot. $5. Yep. 47,000, I got that right there. Don't have to guess. 48,676 square feet. At $5 a foot, that's $243,380.
And that's plus the landfill fees.
Mhm.
So that's in addition, the landfill fees will be in addition to.
Yeah.
I believe the way the contract is written, the landfill fees is included.
Pardon me?
I believe the way the contract is currently written, the landfill fees included in that $5 per square foot. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, that's how it, but I just can't imagine how you could do it that
I
way.
thought it was in addition to.
Right, I'm saying the current way it's written, that's what it says. it says that $5 is inclusive, including, on section D, it says $5 inclusive of the landfill fee.
Inclusive.
On second page, paragraph D, it said $5 per square foot, including landfill fee.
So that is correct. I'm sorry. That is correct.
So the total would be $243,000. It's 16 buildings, 54 units, 48,657 square feet, I believe.
So what is it? My question is that the going rate, $5 square foot?
It is. There's a rate that's approved by HUD.
Yep.
We would have to see what the department is. How much would this take from us? What would this require? Do we have the manpower first? And how would it affect our day-to-day operation? Well, because we don't get involved in day-to-day operation. That's something they should talk to department heads about before. I would feel more comfortable letting the department heads could see if they have the manpower to do that. And I don't want to step into day-to-day operation. This is just me speaking, because I do feel like we had some properties torn down and some people that we didn't do right. We didn't get taken care of one. So I think the department head and the mayor should take care of that. At the department head, me speaking, if the department head and the mayor comes to something and said, hey, that the department head said he has the manpower that can do that, then that's fine. If the department head wants to subcontract it out to somebody, then that's fine. But I don't want to put the department head or the department in a strain to say that, we failed, we couldn't do it or whatever. I think the mayor should, I would be happy to revisit it and see what the mayor and the department head says about it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
have you people discussed all this with the mayor
We have,
and with the administration that we presently have?
we have.
And what was he's not here tonight, but what was his consensus on this project?
We've talked about 3 different times, and his consensus was that he felt the city could do it for $5 a square foot. So that's what we reported to HUD.
Did he say that we had the facilities to handle
Well,
that?
that was my first question to him, because this can't take 6 months. It's got to be taken down in an orderly manner.
Sure.
And he assured me it would be, but again, I haven't talked to the head.
You
of this
discussed
department.
that with the mayor?
I have, yes.
Okay. Then has he, Mr. City Attorney, has he worked with our employees to handle it? I think he's here.
Mr. Jones is here. When I met with Steve in the city attorney's office, he asked me that question. I told him I forwarded it to the mayor and to Mr. Jones. And after giving Mr. Jones a copy of the contract, Mr. Jones met with me today, and he said he was uncertain as to whether the city can fill in less than within the summer. He's here. I'm not going to speak for him. The issue that he said was he didn't know if he could do both, but he's here to address. But he said he wouldn't be opposed to the city subcontracting. I have not talked to any subcontractors. That's the mayor's job. I have not discussed any of that. Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
He's asking a question.
What's the question?
The question was, has the mayor discussed all this with you and our city group?
He mentioned a price to
Raise
me.
these properties?
He mentioned a price to me, but the price that we came up with today was like probably about close to $600,000 short. I would say about $5,500 short on this now.
Do we have
It's 243 now, right? Mr. Valley, what they.
$5 a square foot,
$5
$243,000.
Do we have the manpower necessary
No,
to
we
handle
would have to hire the manpower.
it, sir?
We would have to hire the manpower.
We will have to hire
Yes, sir.
those people.
Yes, sir. And I do it at a rate of like $17 an hour, the minimum. And you're looking at, for like 4 employees, you're looking at $140-some thousand. So yeah, we would lose. And the tonnage itself, I think they want to include the tonnage. Tearing down those big buildings, you're looking at probably about close to $180,000 for the tonnage. Because they all brick.
So this will all be hired outside to where It won't interfere with our daily activity.
Well, if we're gonna do that, hire anybody, I mean, the city wouldn't make no profit on this, period,
Yeah,
you know?
The way you talk, it seems like the city gonna have to pay some out.
Yes,
For that price, right?
yes, sir.
What units are we talking about? I might have missed it.
I think we talking about 16 buildings. I don't know if it's gonna be all the property or what, sir. 16 buildings, 54
The
units.
structures he's talking about are Sacred Heart and Joe.
Joe Brady Drive, yeah.
And those apartments have been tested for asbestos as well, right? So he may have to have some special equipment to tear that down, right? So are you aware that it was asbestos on
I
that?
mean, we would do, we got a code enforcement to do the test before we do anything.
So because at one point when this project was going through, it was much higher than this
Yes.
price.
Yes, sir.
It was like almost
800,
well,
close to $1 million.
close to $1 million when we heard about it
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. So that's why when it came to that, I was excited. And when I heard the number, like, well, this, because I can see this. And this is just me, and I'm not the mayor, but I can see you all have this Helena-West Authority building up here, right? That you all are not using. If y'all are willing to work that and let the city use that as a substation for the police department, and we probably have to work with you because see, the city, you all are not going to do anything with that building over here, right? I was hoping that you all would let the city get that building. We can put our police department over here on the east side. That's just something I want to talk to y'all about. I'm so happy that you're here. So I was going to give you an earful of that. But this right here, Mr. Jones as the department head, as the mayor, I'm just want y'all to come together. But can we talk about this, about the building that y'all not using? When this is done, because I don't want to.
They're here tonight about this contract and demolition contract. They've met with the mayor on over the course of months. It's not just once or twice. They've been communicating him for a while. I was brought up to date on it probably about a month ago. But the mayor's been the one that's consistently meeting with them about this and was aware of the price and the structures, and et cetera. And what the mayor said that he could do it, when I met with the mayor about this Friday, the mayor, Ms. Jones said the mayor has not met with him about it. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm just repeating.
We mentioned it probably about 3 or 4 months ago.
Right, but I'm saying in detail.
Yes.
I met with Mr. Jones today, and Mr. Jones is telling me this today, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions on Mr. Jones. I'm saying, when I met with the mayor, he said he wanted me to communicate 2 options to you all. One option, he wanted to communicate with the city doing it. He thought the city could do it if Mr. Jones said we could do it. The second option that he wanted, he didn't want delay. He said, if you all don't think that you all can do it, then please allow it to be advertised for bid for subcontractor so it can be done, because time is of the essence when they're coming. They don't want delay and to be kicked around and we're waiting for 6 months to make a decision. They have a timetable where these need to be down in 90 to 120 days tops.
Yes.
Is that correct, Steve?
So why would we have a subcontractor? Why would we advertise for a subcontractor?
Well, the issue would be, it would be a contract because, right, the city would be contracting. But what the mayor was saying is if there were any profitability in it, he wants the city to bid it so that it could be subcontracted. That's what I'm saying.
So, Mr. City Attorney,
Yes, sir.
what action did you want this council to take tonight concerning this?
The action that it was here for was it wasn't me action, the mayor was action. But the action that's here is for consideration to enter the interlocal agreement with the housing authority regarding contracting. The housing authority has been under pressure with the mayor that the city could do this. And they've been going down this road the entire time because they've been communicating that it could do this. Again, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on the mayor. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on any person. I'm just communicating what was communicated to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and when I met with Mr. Jones, this is the first I've heard that the city may not be able to fulfill that timeframe. Yes.
Sounds to me like we have more questions than answers. And I would ask Mr. Clark and Mr. Gates, what is your timetable for starting? I mean, we meet twice a month, so this is the first meeting of the month of May. We'll meet again in 2 weeks.
The application is going to be submitted within 30 days.
Okay.
And we will know within 45 days if it's been approved, and then we want to proceed forward right after that. If I could mention one thing, we're trying to do this to bring some money into the city. If that doesn't work, then let's don't do it. You know, we've got contractors that'll do it. I mean, we do. If we were wanting to let the city know that if they wanted to participate, they certainly could.
Yes, sir. And the only issue we have is we don't have the mayor here, and he would be, I guess, more adequately positioned to determine what his assessment is and whether he thinks is doable, because the department head is not sure that it works. So for us, we don't want to approve a project that is going to lose money for the city. So what I would suggest is we table this for 2 weeks when the mayor is here, and then we can have him to go ahead.
I was like, is 2 weeks too long, or would you need a special call meeting?
2 weeks would be all right.
Okay, so we can put it, Madam Clerk, if you would put this on the next agenda.
That's what I'm saying. So if we wait 2 weeks, they're gonna mean he got to submit the application 3 days after that, and then that's 4 to 5 more days.
But you don't have to wait on us to submit the applications.
No, the application is going in. The matter of who we use for the demolition is going to be approved by HUD. And there was discussions early on with the mayor about the city being able to do it, and hopefully make money at doing it.
Sure.
And bring some money into the coffers of the city. If that isn't going to be the case, if I were you, I would get in the middle of it. I'd let us just go ahead and hire a demo contractor and do it.
So can I?
We definitely would see a profit if they were bringing the debris to the landfill.
Yeah.
But as far as it go with us doing it, see no profit in it. But we will make money. I appreciate that too, sir. But we will actually make money if they brought it to the landfill. We were gonna do the demo.
So
Let me make that clear for the record. The city doesn't charge itself
Yes.
for bringing waste to landfill. And so if the city contract, then it's a gain on the books because we don't charge ourselves for dumping waste. And so what third party would bring it, they would have to pay for the waste. And that's what Mr. Jones is saying. It's pure profit on that side.
So the contract is saying does not include the tonnage fees.
The contract, the $5 per square foot, if the city does a contract, it includes the landfill fees. If a third party does it, it includes the landfill fees. The issue that we would have as it relates to what Mr. Jones is saying, that the contracting, because they would have to hire extra people. We haven't made that clear. Let me expound on what Mr. Jones told me today. Mr. Jones said that he would have to hire 3 to 4 new contractors with the city to do it. That's why you're saying the
Yes, sir.
feasibility of it. And you all approved the contractor's rate last year at $17 an hour. And so when he calculated that during the time frame, he looked at that may be about $130,000 of 243, and then the waiving of the tonnage is what, and those are just raw numbers. He hadn't gone back to actually completely complete it. But when he talked to me today, when I was trying to go through it with him, those are the numbers that he gave me. And did I speak correctly?
Yes,
Mr.?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so that was his dilemma about it. He wanted to get with the mayor about more, because when you all approved contractors to be hired for city employees, you all rate at this point at $17 an hour was the last one that you all hired.
Any additional questions?
Then it's agreeable that we can wait 2 weeks until we hold a meeting. Okay.
Well, I would strongly suggest that Mr. Jones and the mayor meet and lay out it all so we can have it all in detail.
Yes, sir.
The one thing that we don't want to do, we don't want to be wasting the housing authority time and prolonging the process.
Right.
They came, when they met with me, they told me about this date. I told them when we meet, we suggested this date, but we thought the mayor would be here. And what they are interested in, because they've asked every time they've met with the city, can the city do this? That's the very first question that they asked before they even started talking about it. Can the city do this? My initial response was, I will give Mr. Jones and the mayor. Is that correct, Steve?
That's correct.
The very first question out of his mouth when he said him off was, said, can the city do this? And so that's where we are. If the city could do it, I think it'd be a great thing. This is part one of the second part. When the second part, they're not ready to present at this time. But this is going to be a good project in the city.
If I could add one thing that's kind of a caveat, if the city subcontracts, those contractors are gonna have to be able to be bonded and insured.
Have insurance and everything else. I saw that.
The city could take on that responsibility. I don't know why you
Yeah.
want to do that, but I mean, you could take it on, and say, we'll take on all the liability for our contractors and we'd accept that, but otherwise we have to clear each one of them independently.
You will pay us and then we'll pay those contractors that work for us to handle it.
Correct.
I can see a profitable operation here if we do it right. Yeah.
Well, I think that's why you should talk some more and make sure it's going to be done right.
It's a win situation for the city
We think so.
to work with you too.
One other thing I want to say, just for the record. There's not the intent to hide anything from the city council in this. Part of discussions when we had with the housing authority and its representatives is they were trying to operate in a manner where they held it close to their vest before revealed to many people. When I met with Steve and Andrew Bagley, I told them that I would not share anything to anyone until we came to this table. And that's why the council is getting it now. There's no effort on the mayor's part to try to hide anything from me. There's no effort on my part to try to hide anything from me. It is what they asked the city to do, but that's why you're getting details now. I know the council always laments about getting details in the last moment, but that's how it's going. That's how it went in this, just so you could understand what was going on. So if anyone gave it to you late, it was me with cooperating with the housing authority.
Any additional comments? And I said table, we don't have to actually table, we could just roll it over to the next agenda since they made their presentation. Does anyone have any additional questions?
I just want to know when can I be with you all soon about that building? The office space over there. See, currently, our police department's out here on the bypass. And if we are not gonna do anything with that space, that'll be something good for the city to take on, because we can have representation from the police department on this side of town. And I think it's an office space. We could put the water department over there, so get the water department over here. I think it'd be a game for the city to take their building. We can put it's a business for a substation. Even if y'all not gonna do anything with the shop, we can move our maintenance shop over here on this side, so you can keep a sanitation shop on this side and this side. So I think I've been just waiting on you all, and I think that'd be something good for the city to take on. We'll have a maintenance shop on this side for the sanitation department. We'll also have a substation for the police department and the water department. We can save money by going out from the county. I would be more happy that you all would give that to the city, because there's a lot of problems you all can't take. You got less manpower, and I think you all are tearing down units. That would be a good thing to keep us from spending more money paying rent on a bill out here, that'll put a sanitation department over here. So Mr. Jones, Mr. Womack, or somebody could be on this side, Mr. Sharp could be on this side. I think it would be to our advantage, instead of giving it to somebody else, donate that to the city, and we'll be happy to take it, because it's a lot of stuff that we can do, even probably that you all don't have. When you tear these down, who gonna get a property to?
The tearing down of the buildings is to reconstruct, right? You put single family dwellings.
Single family duplexes, maybe some fourplexes, but that's, we're in that minor process right now of trying to figure out.
I thought I read it somewhere.
Yep.
That, I believe that building over there in the maintenance shop best works for the city.
Okay, well, that's good for us to know. We've not talked with her about the disposition of that building yet, so it's good to know that there's a desire there.
Yeah, I think that'd be good for our citizens to at least have a sanitation shop on this side that's already up and ready, and the office space would be good for the water department and the police department to share. So I think, it'll keep us from spending money. But we'd be happy. Now, this is me, but I thought this through.
Thank you.
I just want to be asked that, can we get what Mr. John, not this is for Mr. What you're saying, what they're willing to pay. So can you get us something that's drawn out to see how much it would cost the city, because from what you're saying, the city would entertain if we hired 4 contractors and then would have to pay for the, and all of that, we would lose money.
Mr. Clark and Mr. DH, we greatly appreciate you all for being in your presentation.
Thank you. We're not gonna stick around, but it was nice meeting you guys.
Well, I hope to see you soon. I can come outside, we can talk more.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry, this is LaShawn Wyatt, she's our Director of Operations.
Oh, well, I'm gonna come outside.
Thank you, Ms. Lamb, for being here as
I'll be
well.
outside.
Sorry, I should have.
Well, I'm going outside.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, next on the agenda, we have some ordinances for your review and consideration and possible approval. The first will be, and you prepared those? I'll let the city attorney make the presentation of the ordinances, so Mr. Valley, I'll turn it over to you.
Which ordinance is that?
Oh, these are different. These are Oak Forest League. Okay, there are 2 or 3 things that are here. The first one is concerning Oak Forest League. Now, the Oak Forest League, as you all are aware, ADQ sent us a letter to get a partial fix. Ken Weiland with Smith and Weiland Engineers, he went through, he submitted a report to the city, which you all should have been emailed or provided in your box about what he did previously. At the end of this agenda is also a plan for him to go forward to do the permanent fix. We have not discussed that because he had asked for it to be bid to go forward. Now, when you all met, when you first learned of the ADQ letter and first learned of the leak on Oak Forest, you all had asked for it to be bidded and to go through the process. The mayor in the interim did the fix of the $17,064. That was the total cost that you all had the long discussion about.
Yeah.
Whether you all had authorized that, because he went ahead and did it, was over $5,000 while the bidding was still going on. That's what this ordinance is about. He requested this be prepared, $17,064. This is a leak that actually was to be repaired for the temporary fix for the Oak Forest. I'm saying Oak Forest leak, but it's, you all know where I'm talking about. He did a temporary fix, and he has to submit a plan, which he has submitted, but there's a plan that has to be bidded to go for a permanent fix. So at the end of this, there's another one. But this ordinance, what number would this be, Sandy?
Number 5.
Number 5. This is an ordinance that the mayor went in and he fixed it beforehand. He felt it was an emergency at the time, and he went ahead and fixed the Oak Forest. This was before the competitive bid was finished. It was total, and it was sent to us. So this is the construction part. This is not the engineering portion.
What we need to do is approve this ordinance number 5 then, is that right?
He's requesting that ordinance number 5 be approved.
Okay, I move that we place ordinance number 5, read title only on the third and final reading.
Motion by St. Columbia to place ordinance number 5 on the third and final reading the title only. Is there a second? There being none, that motion will fail for lack of a second.
Okay, the next ordinance will be number 6. It's the amount of 31,000.
We didn't get a second on that.
No.
Yes, no second.
Number 6 is VC3 Inc. VC3 Inc. is relating to computer services, our servers, our internet. They are the second entity that beyond Crystal Clear Solutions, but they do our computer technology, basically. Is that correct, Ms. Ramsey? Okay. Now, it's the next one that's following. It says BC3. It's $31,344.11.
Ordinance number 6.
Now, just the city council has previously has not approved any contract for a contractor since the time of Crystal Creek Solutions. The mayor has engaged in month-to-month billing with VC3, and before VC3, I believe was IT&T in a box or some other entity. But VC3 is the entity that's currently being billed. The bills, Ms. Ramsey presented it because each of the bills are over $5,000 each month. And they're a total of $31,344.11 in arrears. Ms. Ramsey, did you have anything to add to that?
No, so I'd like to have this one as ordinance 5 since the other one failed.
Okay, so we change this to number
I think
5.
technically this is 6 and we'd have to record the ordinance
Oh.
fail. If ordinance 5 failed.
Okay, all right, we're about 5 months behind with VC3. If our systems go down, they are our only go-to people. That's why I'm like
Which is gonna be ordinance number.
6, the ordinance 6.
So I make a motion, that we put ordinance number 6 on the third and final reading, title only.
Motion by St. Columbia to place ordinance number 6 on its third and final reading title only. Is there a second? Ordinance number 6 will fail for lack of a second. I have a question.
Yes.
How many months is this?
6, well, it's about 6 months, 5 or 6 months. At 5,000 a month.
How much do we pay Crystal Clear Solutions on a monthly basis?
I believe it's 5,000. What's the term? Do you remember?
This is our computer system software. Is that what this is?
Right.
Well, we need to go on and approve this.
Mr. St. Columbia, I think the hesitancy has been when the mayor first came to office, when he terminated the contract with Crystal Creek Solutions, this body asked him to bid the contract.
Okay.
The mayor refused to bid the contract. He said that at that point that he wanted to do a month to month. And I told him it was a serial contract then, back when we were meeting, when we were horizontal in the room. That's how long ago we've been having discussion. And the mayor has since then continued to do month to month. Initially started out at $3,900 a month. And those were being paid. Ms. Ramsey objected because they're over $5,000 a month. And I had advised all three of them a while ago, the serial contracts. And so Ms. Ramsey didn't want to cut a check without council approval. The council has never approved the VC3 contract nor the contract before it. And each of them are more than $5,000. So right now you have 6 months of $5,000, which is $31,344.41 or 11 cents. And that's what this is about.
So we need to go on and approve this.
No, we don't need to approve.
They've been doing the work. They've been doing the work I mean, as with any IT
But they're not
company,
getting
they're
paid?
not perfect.
No, we're not
Well,
paying.
we need.
Joe, you're not listening to what we're saying.
As with any IT company, they're not perfect. That's you all in charge of
You're not
finance.
wanting to pay them?
It's not that we don't want to pay them, it was no one ever approved this.
Well, let's approve it.
No, because he was asked to bid it out and he wouldn't bid it out.
Well, but they're doing the work now.
Okay, somebody else could have been doing it if we bidded it out.
Are they doing the work
I don't
now?
know who doing it. I don't work there.
Are we on the computer? Do we have the software? Are we using it?
VC3 is the company currently doing the work.
Sir?
VC3 is currently the company doing the work.
Okay, and that's what this is, to pay them?
This is to pay them to
Well,
approve
we need to pay them.
the payments on it.
We need to go on and pay.
At any point, let me address the question.
VC3 contract,
At any point,
the computer people.
even if the mayor didn't do it properly, at any point, the city council can ratify an expenditure that was not done properly, to answer
Okay.
your question. You're asking the council to ratify the contract with VC3. And what Ms. Crockett was saying is that she has hesitance, and I'm not putting words in her mouth, but she said she had hesitance because it never was bid and never done that way. That's what she's saying.
It was not done properly.
It's not been done properly, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Well, why don't we get it done properly? So we go
Your
on.
mayor wouldn't do
I think that the issue is we had a contractor whose contract we approved as a body. It was at the end of Mr. Hollowell, the Mayor Hollowell's administration. The mayor unilaterally on his own breached the contract. We got sued because of that. And he did it because he said we couldn't pay it, we couldn't afford it. But then he went out and hired somebody who's charging as much, if not more, than the contract that he breached. He was asked to bid it out. This is my remembrance of the facts.
Right.
He has refused to bid it out, and properly would have been for him to do as we requested because he didn't have the authority to spend his money. So just as a matter of personal preference, and this is an individual thing, I'll say this, and this is for the listeners. The question is, are we gonna let him go out and spend everything that he wants to spend without doing it properly? And every time he comes back and says, well, I want you to approve it now that I've done it, are we just gonna do it? Or are we gonna say, no, for once, you're gonna do it right and legally? That's the issue. And I think what you're hearing from people at the table is that, no, I'm tired of him coming and asking us to fix his mess.
Okay, so y'all don't want to approve this?
No, it's not that we don't,
Okay.
don't put words in my mouth.
Well, I have to.
It's not that I don't want to approve it, I just want it done right, because like he always says, this is
Okay.
gonna come back to bite us.
Okay, I made a motion of this, and no seconds, is that right?
There was no second, so motion failed. And
Okay,
just
so
personally,
let's go to the next. one.
Hold on.
well, hold on, Mr. Singh, just so that everybody, personally, and I can only speak for myself, I wish he would be here to
I do
explain.
too, but he's
So he
not
could,
here.
and since he's not here, I mean, it's really kind
We
of,
need to get something done.
it's a, Mr. Franklin, go ahead.
I have this to say, and this is about all contracts. You know, it seems to me when something in favor of other people to get done, if you don't follow the rules, I've been here long enough to see, we got some more people who had a contract that wasn't paid, and they're not here, and they're not getting paid. So I think this is the same thing.
What's next here?
Maybe if you had been here these past couple meetings, you know what was next.
Well, you still have another ordinance number 7-2022.
This is the Reed's Cat.
People miss a whole,
This is Ridge Cat landfill. Is Mr. Jones still here?
people miss all these meetings.
Mr. Jones, are you familiar with Ridge Cat, the 5,000?
5,000.
They be wanting their check.
Bob Gafford had done fixing the Aljon at the, a piece of, yeah, it was the Aljon.
What's that
And
number?
it was over $5,000. I think that's what this deal was about, right, Ms. Andy?
Oh.
Back from September 21, Bobby.
Yes, ma'am.
So this bill is back in September,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
$5,489.
Yes, sir. They did repair the equipment. We had,
Sir?
they did the work on
Well,
it.
they've done the work,
Yes, sir.
they just need to get paid,
Yes, sir.
and that's what this ordinance is about.
I think it's about the, am I talking about the right one?
We're talking about
Or was that the least?
No, this is cat.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the one we got here?
There on Riggs, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's ordinance number 7.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that ordinance number 7 be put on third and final reading, reading title only.
Motion by St. Columbia to place ordinance number 7 on its third and final reading, reading the title only. Is there a second?
Second.
Suspend the rules, read the title only.
Second by Crockett. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Davis. Yes. St. Columbia.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Etherly.
Yes.
5 yes, 1 absent.
What ordinance is that?
Ordinance number 7-2022, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated section 1458-303, authorizing the mayor to enter a contract to purchase certain property for the city of Helena-West, Helena, Arkansas, and related purposes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
I so move.
Motion by St. Columbia to adopt ordinance number 7 of 2022, second by Crockett. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yeah.
Crockett.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Etherly.
Yes.
5 yes, 1 absent.
Okay, we got an emergency clause on here too.
Yes, is there a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
I so move.
Motion by St. Columbia to adopt the emergency clause. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Crockett. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Franklin.
Yes.
Davis. Etherly.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
5 yes.
Ordinance number 8-2022 is relating to Central Hydraulics. It's repair equipment. Mr. Jones, it's $10,500. Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones, let me talk to you about this here. Let me talk about this too.
This is one for $10,500.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to him about it.
I did some engine work on the truck, Strada here.
What, let me ask you, is this street sanitation, what department is this coming out? Well, see, now, I'm fine with that because now I'm gonna tell you like this. The mayor's not here. Have you already, never mind, I'll ask you later. Y'all have the funds for this?
These repairs already done, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, y'all got the money, right?
Yes.
So move. So move, we gotta talk to you later.
Wait a minute, so it's most placed on third and final.
Everything is in, yes, sir.
Placed on the final reading.
Yes, sir.
Read the title on.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Franklin, Mr. Franklin. For the record, this is ordinance number 8.
Yes, sir.
All right, and your motion is to place ordinance number 8 on its third and final reading title only.
Yes, sir.
Second by Mr. St. Columbia. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Davis. Crockett. Franklin.
Yes.
Etherly.
Yes.
4 yes, 2 absent.
Ordinance number 8,
Oh, yes,
2022.
Yes, okay. Ms. Davis is
An
here.
ordinance waiving pending business in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated section 1458-303, authorized the mayor into a contract to purchase certain property for the city of Helena-West for related purposes.
Your motion to adopt.
So move.
We have emergency fund.
We got the first part.
We have a
Is there
motion by
to adopt?
Franklin on the floor to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Crockett. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Etherly.
Yes.
5 yes.
Mercy clause.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Franklin to adopt the emergency clause, second by St. Columbia. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Franklin.
Yes.
Davis. Etherly.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay. Ordinance number 9, Madam Clerk, it is the amount of $15,025. EEP, could you explain what the EAP is?
Chief
Board was here.
We talked about this last meeting about. So move.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, what y'all talking about?
About, let me
It's the fire department
came, we was gonna do that.
One was amount of $6,142.04. The other was $8,863.93. The note to the bottom of ordinance number 9.
I know, but what is?
Yeah, I got that. I got that.
Emergency, it's gonna be, going by uniforms and they do all the work and maintenance on our apparatus.
Y'all got the
And
money.
that's gonna be
Yes, ma'am.
number.
Yes, ma'am.
So move.
Yeah.
Suspend the rules, places on third
Yes, sir.
and final reading the title only.
Yes, sir.
Motion by Franklin to place ordinance number 9 of 2022 on its third and final reading title only. Second by Davis. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Etherly.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Davis. 5 yes.
Ordinance number 9, 2022, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated section 1458-303, authorized the mayor into a contract to purchase certain property for the city of Helena-West for other related purpose. So motion to adopt.
Adopt.
Second.
Motion by Franklin to adopt ordinance number 9, second by St. Columbia. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Etherly.
Yes.
Davis. Crockett. Franklin.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
5 yes.
Mercy.
Mercy clause.
So move.
Motion by Franklin to adopt the emergency clause, second by St. Columbia. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Crockett.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Etherly.
Yes.
Davis. Franklin.
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Next is John Deere lease, 5-0 term mowers, 3-year package, $59,000. Mr. Womack or Mr. Jones has an information packet.
You got it.
I'll get it.
This is what we really is, every 3 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
All right.
It's just a renewal of our 3-year contract on our 0 turns for John Deere.
So like the least that we do, so y'all gonna turn the other 3 in and get 3 more?
They have already come and got them. They got them today.
Okay, let's move to give y'all that.
So then this item, correct me if I'm wrong, we're already a keeping budget. It's just a note.
But it should be an assistant rate.
Right.
Yes. But we've got some numbers here from John Deere.
In the ordinance, it says a total of $92,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
How about,
I see, what are these guys in there? 'Cause I don't have the wrong one.
I don't see.
I see.
Oh, you think it says 59?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, for the moves.
Oh, here, I got.
I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Next one, Mr.
I'm looking at the next
That's
one.
gonna be number 10.
Yeah.
No, that's number 10.
10 was the fire department. No,
9 was
9
fire
was the
department.
fire department.
$59,748.70.
Yes, for 3 years.
How much we pay now?
About the same price. It's about
Same rate.
76 a month per mower.
And we had one,
1,300, I'll take it, 1,400.
we had one old one and we added, we will cycle that old one out and we added two new units to the fleet.
This is,
That's
The bad boy and the old one, both of those gonna be cycled up to the landfill.
we already got it.
No, we won't get them till you tell us, it's okay.
So my understanding is that this replaces the previous contract and should have zero budget impact. If I'm wrong, somebody say, Mr. Epley, you are wrong. So, I'm not wrong, okay, so. This will be ordinance number 10.
Yeah.
Ordinance number 10, is there a motion to,
Ms. Crockett moved and Ms. Davis made second.
okay, Ms. Crockett moves to place ordinance number 10 on its third and final reading title only, and second by Ms. Davis. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Davis, St. Columbia.
Yes.
Crockett. Franklin.
Yes.
Etherly,
Yes,
5 yes.
you got it.
You got move to adopt.
Wait a minute, I hadn't read it. The ordinance waiving the credit bid in accordance with Arkansas Code of Section 1458-303, authorizing the mayor to a contract to purchase certain service and no equipment for the city of Helena-West for related purposes. Now I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Crockett, second by Franklin to adopt ordinance number 10. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yeah.
Davis. Etherly.
Yes.
5 yes.
So moved.
Motion by Franklin to adopt the emergency clause. Is there a second? Second by Crockett. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
When you was gone, we was getting
Franklin?
done too, Joe. Yes, when we were gone, we was getting done too. That's why you can't get the check.
Franklin.
Yes, yeah.
Davis. Etherly.
Yes.
Crockett. St. Columbia.
Yes.
5 yes.
All right, we're on the road.
We were moving like that when you was out them days.
We're on the
Joe.
road. Let's go.
Mr. Nick, ordinance number 11, is that to
We were moving like that when you was gone. So we show mission.
Yeah, let's go.
Order number 11, it relates to, it's 92,000 state contract for 3 Ram 1500 standard size pickup trucks.
Mr. Jones or Mr. Womack wanted to explain.
What can I ask this question? Y'all explain it. It's street and sanitary.
These trucks come out what? They're gonna be in the street department.
It's gonna be ordinance number
11.
I like this.
11.
Passing, they have one of these.
I don't know if it's appropriate.
This is my first time seeing this.
Okay.
I don't know if there was appropriation.
I mean, do we have any sanitation?
Well, we'll need to finance it. We won't be able to pay 92,000 cash.
Okay, so we financing the truck, right?
Can I
Yeah,
ask?
so we can afford it.
But I just want to say, but we could pay it if we got some of our money that's tied up on the water department, right? That's $200,000. So we can get it if it's about $600,000, but they get that a month. I'm sorry, Mr. Val, you're right. But $600,000 is tied up in the water department that the streets. Huh?
We can talk about this.
So let's pause. I don't have the financing documents. I haven't seen those. Y'all can approve it if you're so, and then I would look at the finance documents.
Do you see any problem with it, Ms. Sanders? Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr.
Yes, but I would defer to them about the finance.
We can approve the purchases of the.
Yes.
I mean,
So I'm seconding the motion.
Ms. Jones says street department.
Will be for public works.
Right, yeah, you street department division, right.
All in the same umbrella. We got no problem with that.
Y'all will have to make the appropriation.
So let me pause for a second. Mr. Turner says you don't have to make appropriation. Said there's never been appropriation in the street department for $92,000.
Well, what I'm saying is there hasn't been any appropriations for anything to be financed lately. The last thing we had financed, I think, were the boom loaders or whatever. I think in the street department, there hasn't been anything financed.
Do you need to appropriate 92,000 or a certain
A
amount?
certain amount, whatever it is.
Like Ms. Sanders said, we're not trying to pay for the trucks all at once.
Mr. Jones, what I'm saying is, we need to appropriate the finance. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Not the 92,000.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I asked Ms. Sanders, is there gonna be a problem with that though?
So we'll go through a local bank and finance it for 3 years.
We're going to approve it.
Well, no, listen, just a second. The issue, well, hold on. The issue is if there's gonna be a financing contract, we have to approve that contract.
Oh, yeah, here's two things. We need to approve the contract. Then the other part, I'm reading this ordinance, and it's state contract, so it wouldn't have to be bid. What you all have to do is over $5,000. That's what the issue is. You have to approve the contract and it's over $5,000. Because you're buying a state contract, the state has already bidded it on behalf of everybody. That's right. And so we're not trying to engage in bidding on it. But the only thing that we have, the barriers that we have is over $5,000 above the mayor's spending limit. And we'd have to approve the contract. And so what I would suggest,
We can approve the purchase of the vehicle and then we approve the financing when it comes down.
Right. Because you haven't approved the contract until,
Approve the purchase.
but you gotta have a contract to approve the contract. See, the first
Which one
part,
come first, the horse or the?
no, you gotta approve, at the end of the day, it's not approved until we approve the contract. So all this other stuff will be superficial. So let's just get the contract.
Right. So we need to go get a contract, is that what you're talking about?
Finance.
they need to bring finance.
finance.
So we'll know how much it is.
Okay.
I think Ms. Sanders already got that. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm gonna,
You have-
I don't know if they were gonna approve it.
Okay.
before we
Right.
go back.
Okay, we don't have financing on it.
Excuse me, we got too many conversations going on, Mr. President. I think that the bottom line is what's been articulated, is that we need to approve the financing first. We do not have to bid it because it's state contract. I don't know how much longer the vehicle is going to be available. Do you all have a time frame, Mr. Jones, or?
Well, they usually give you 30 days, and it's been like, I think, close to that 30 days now.
Okay. Do you need any, the council have a special call meeting at any point, or is it to get it done? Because the next meeting will be 2 weeks.
Yeah, we've been in lost it. Yes, sir, that'd be fine.
Okay. And so ordinance number 11, 2022, will be tabled to a special call meeting. Is that what you all saying by acclamation? Yes, sir. Okay.
Do you know how long it takes to try to see?
48 hours.
Monday or Tuesday,
I'm unavailable Tuesday, but you all will have to have me.
Monday,
I'm unavailable Monday, Tuesday.
Sunday.
Monday and Tuesday. Monday, Sunday, Mother's Day. She said Sunday.
Sunday's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Bed's a good month.
Yeah.
But it's Thursday, what the day?
I just said-
48 hours. That ain't 48 hours.
How about Wednesday?
That's just.
So next week,
Oh, I mean, you've done Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Get about when?
Oh.
We can do what they do.
If y'all willing to do it, no, we can do it Friday.
Well, yeah, that's fine. Let's do it Friday. What about, is that convenient?
Well, you can just call me.
You wanna do it Friday afternoon? Fine.
But I mean, I like that Dave to be present. I don't want to leave this David out, but so since it's a teacher's
So you
appreciation.
gonna be in the city at all Monday?
Monday, and Tuesday night, I have meetings with
No, I'm
other
saying
cities.
12 o'clock.
I'll be here Monday.
Well, we do it Monday at 12 o'clock.
Okay, well,
Monday night I won't be here because I've been in council meeting in the park. Tuesday night I've been in council meeting. in Conklin.
Yeah.
All these other cities pay.
3 o'clock Monday, that's fine, 1 o'clock.
So noon on Monday, is that fine with that? But that's in a criminal term. Will you be available?
But y'all don't need me. I mean,
Well, you can leave the form, two of y'all go.
I
You can be here at 12 o'clock Monday.
can hold out if they do that, because I like to win.
I have no idea.
Well, all y'all people.
Can you make Tuesday at 12? At 12.
We have a criminal term that starts on Monday. I don't know where I'll be.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be across the street, but I don't know when we'll take break. So it's impossible.
Okay, let's go back to Wednesday, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Are we talking about a meeting?
Plan commission meets at 5:30.
Wednesday noon.
Wednesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, no.
I might be available.
If you have
Joe, are you available Wednesday noon?
he retired.
I have to look and see. I don't know yet.
I know.
Joe, I'll get you have a very busy schedule, because when we needed you were on vacation.
That's right. So tentatively, we have a special call meeting
Yes, sir.
next Wednesday
I'll be here.
at noon. That's Wednesday the 11th that we're discussing.
I'll be here.
Noon, the 11th.
Yeah, we're gonna provide, I'm gonna get y'all snack. If pots and pans, what we can do.
Next item on the agenda is a professional services agreement for Attorney Donald Knapp, City Attorney.
Now, if I may explain this, Mr. Chuck Habit and Miss Amy Green have previously, you all have previously approved a contract with them. We've paid each one of them $500 a month for a total of $1,000 a month. They both said that they wanted $1,000 a month for a total of $2,000 a month, and that they wasn't gonna do all of the conflicts. Also, last year, the city paid Mr. Vince Guest for conflicts prosecution for cases. I know there was a case involving two of the people at the table. We won't go in detail about that, but we paid him for those independently. He paid by the hour. What Knapp says that he could do all of them. That's Attorney James Valley cases, Keisha non-violent as public defender, and then the conflicts that city officials would have. He could do all those, and he says he'll just set up a flat rate of $1,500 a month, so long as he doesn't have a conflict for the case. And so it's 18,000 versus 24,000. Last year, according to Mr. Turner, we paid 22,000. Is that correct? This time? We paid $1,000 a month for them to pay Mr. Guest over $10,000. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And so that's what we spent last year. So Mr. Snap said he could do it all for $1,500. We have a stack of cases that we're waiting affidavits to be approved by a special prosecutor that are just sitting on the desk, and the judge at times is counting against the city on those. And so.
The people we paying right now won't do nothing.
We hadn't paid them since March or February. When's the last time we paid them, Francis?
I owe them for February, March.
Oh, the attorney.
This year, they haven't done it in any of the cases.
Is it because they didn't get paid, or is it because they didn't want to do it? There's a
They
difference.
were paid through December.
So they were.
And then they were paid in January, but since January, every case involved James Valley or Keisha Nunn Valley has been continued till
But
June.
I understand that, but is it that we didn't pay them because we didn't have the money, or we didn't pay them because they didn't do the work, or we didn't pay them because they said they didn't want to fool with it? Why were they not being paid?
Is this because they want to increase?
But it's a mixture of all three of those. To be candid with you, they were desiring the increase. They felt like they were being treated unfairly. They had asked for the increase, and what they had told the judge is continue the cases until a contract is approved. The intervening factor is that the prosecutor's office received funds to hire somebody to prosecute the misdemeanors, and that's how Donald Knapp came to the table. And he said that he would do it himself, since he's doing all the other misdemeanors, and he'd do it for $1,500 a month. They were asking for $1,000 a month each. No, each one of them paid $500 a month.
Oh.
And what they wanted a total was $1,000 a month. But all the cases have been, what the judge did is tell the city council takes action. All those cases are just being continued down the road. And affidavits involving conflicts with city officials are just sitting in a pile because there's nobody to approve them. Yes.
So how did, there was no other attorney asked about this? Donald Knapp just came about. I mean, you know, if there's money put in the budget, or prosecutor's budget, whatever, you know, was he just?
You talking about for Donald Knapp?
I mean, for us.
For us, I talked to them and I talked to Donald Knapp. I did not talk to any other attorneys. Previously, I've talked to other attorneys, and they bill, but Mr. Turner has those records. The other attorneys have billed by the hour, and that's why Mr. Halbert and Ms. Green were upset, because they said we have contracts, and the other cases people been billed by the hour.
But these other prosecutors, how do they get the job to do it? Who approve these special prosecutors?
The mayor approved them, and those we haven't. They've come before this body. If you want specifics, we had a case where we had the guys that were suing everybody. LaBrace and what's the name? Donald Bland prosecuted those cases.
Okay.
He charged the city $5,000 to do that. We had cases with Jimmy Wilson prosecuted cases. He charged the city $5,000, and then he had another case was another $5,000, ended up being $10,000.
So can I ask this question?
Yes.
If we spent all that money this far, so why don't we just try to put some in the budget just to get somebody? If we spend that kind of money.
That's what you're trying to do.
No. I need to know. Because I mean, if you spend this money over the course of a year to do that, you can get a nice salary for somebody to, you know, he paid Vince Gist or whatever his name is. You pay him a certain amount of money. You almost say what, $30,000 or better, right?
No, last year it was approximately 22,000.
Right. So if you're at 25 at the top, you can get somebody in here to do everything for $25,000. Say they a whole lot of money, they get the $25,000. They max the whole year.
So
that rate.
If I understand you correctly, what you're saying is create like a deputy city attorney position?
Yeah. I mean, I could see somebody who just don't care. Just come in, prosecute me, you, the dog catcher, whoever, just do the job. But instead you have to get this together. I mean, I'm willing to look at the budget. I'm willing to go 35 and just get somebody come in, or 25, whatever you want to do. Just get somebody and just do it. Just come to prosecute. If Ms. Valley has a conflict, you have a conflict, James have a conflict, whoever has a conflict. I mean, I think I'd rather see that.
Okay.
Instead of coming back and forth.
I have no objection to you all appropriating money for a deputy. The thing I want to make clear for the public, when it comes to cases involving James Valley, James and I have separate law firms, but it's the appearance of impropriety for me to prosecute cases on my brother, because people will be saying I'm giving him special deals. And so that was the genesis of that. My wife, Keisha Nunval, is an attorney, and she is a public defender, so she appears mainly on the county docket. But cases like today, where Mr. Etheley has one person, we have two people that are appointed, and they both need public defenders, she would be one of those people, so that person has to prosecute that. For cases when there's affidavits against employees, I currently have an affidavit against an employee that's sitting on my desk, have affidavits against, well, not just one, 3 employees, a city official that's sitting on my desk. And all of those cases, because I represent the entire city, I would have a conflict on. And that is the genesis of why we end up doing all this. Last year, the mayor signed an affidavit against Mr. Franklin, and the lion's share of the money that was billed out was the prosecution of Mr. Franklin, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just trying to be open about what the $9,000 or $10,000 we paid Mr. Guest. And also Mr. Turner had an issue that was being prosecuted by it. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on either one of them, I'm just trying to give you all what happened to cause the attorney's fees.
If they're prosecuted, the prosecutor gets paid.
Are you asking us to approve this? Is that what you're?
This was a contract that I talked to Ms. Knapp about. Y'all in charge of the fees, the finances. If you all feel it's more prudent to have a deputy and just pay somebody on a salary. But the one thing about it is, the one caveat I have about that, of course, that would be fine with me. It is not just the flat rate. You also would be looking at taxes, health insurance, retirement, and all those things. And so a salary is not the only thing you'd be discussing under those terms. You'd be looking at a broader picture if you went that way.
But
So
having a contract, it's.
So.
Right.
Question.
yes,
Like this contract that Mr. Knapp
Knapp.
has drawn up, is there possibly where it could be maybe like advertised that the city's looking for somebody?
we can advertise. The professional services do not have to be bid. We can advertise. The thing about it, typically why I've done this informally, call people and et cetera, to see. You can advertise, but go ahead, Ms. Jackson.
There's not many lawyers who gonna drive the hell
I know,
of
that's right, I know.
to spend a day in court
I know.
for a little bit of money.
I know.
And $1,500 is cheaper than anything that we spent. No, he's asking 1,500 because the other two wanted 2,000. They wanted an
Collectively.
increase, yeah, 1,000 each. And so I understand that, hey, can we get the best price?
No.
This is, it probably ain't gonna get no better than, I mean, so.
I just didn't want it to come back to say, like, for instance, the two that's already on there, they're asking for more. And then you come along with this contract to pay, $1,500. It might have been a way that one of them might have would have took the 15 and the other one, I don't want it to be, to seem like that we're just being, I don't know how to explain it.
Well, no, it was $500 each, and then this one $1,500. No, ma'am, it was $1,500. That's the same contract. The one thing I want to say is this. When we had the criminal term April the 4th, I talked to Mr. Halbert, and I also talked to Ms. Green. And here's the thing that typically happens. Mr. Halbert does one day, and Ms. Green does other day. We have court on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so neither one of them were agreeable at any point to do both days.
Okay.
And so the $1,000 that each one asked for was for one day a week.
4 days a month.
This requires 2 days a week. The 1,500 Ms. Knapp was talking about.
Okay.
And so that's what the discussion has been. Now, the issue is James Valley and the public defenders had a majority of the docket along with Philip Allen. So anybody that you're gonna hire to do a prosecution for James, you're gonna be in court for a while. And so that's what the issue is. And if we put this on an hourly rate basis, most lawyers here charge anywhere from $175 to $300 an hour.
Okay, I just need it to be made, now that you explain, I understand what you're saying.
Right, and so the issue is, what Mr. Ether is saying is, Mr. Habit and Ms. Green have both said, we're giving our time away because we could be billing you $150, $200 an hour, $300 an hour. And Ms. Knapp said, I could bill you the same way, and other people say the same thing. And what they all are saying, while it sounds like a lot of money, all of them are saying, well, we're giving our service away at the rate that you're talking.
I understand that, but I was just saying, I didn't want it to be said that you explained it when you said that neither one of them wanted to come 2 days a week. They explained everything to me.
Yes, ma'am, but I went, as I often tell, people walk through the front door, I went to both of them and talked to them about it and told them what's going on. I talked to Mr. Knapp in their presence on April the 4th in the circuit courtroom.
Okay.
And so that was the conversation. I have not talked to Mr. Bland and I have not talked to Mr. Wilson. I did talk to Mr. Wilson in the past. Mr. Wilson typically, he wants $300 an hour. And, but that's where we were. It's easier when you have somebody that's already there versus going some other route. But this contract is, I thought it was for the year. It doesn't have the language there, but we discussed to the end of the year.
So he can back out of this with a 10-day notice.
Yes, and so can the city. Either party can back out with 10-day notice. May 19th, the judge is asking, he wanted me to make sure I mention you all, we have a host of conflict cases that need to be done on May 19th. And he just needs to know something because we have a special judge coming down on for something. If you all are going to table it, then I'll inform them so they can reschedule it to another date. Because many of these cases require.
I move that we accept this contract. I just needed clarity. Once I got clarity, I'm good.
And Ms. Crockett, is that a motion to approve?
Yes.
Motion to approve the contract by Crockett, second by St. Columbia. Any other discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Franklin, Davis, Etherly,
Yes.
Crockett,
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yeah.
4 yes, 2 absent.
Contract is approved.
Now, you'll also have a bill in your packet. It's an ordinance, but it's not necessary to be an ordinance. It's a bill in the packet in the amount of $5,500.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to.
It's professional services. What, I've had many conversations with Mr. Wilder. Mr. Wilder did the temporary fix, what he wants to be paid on that. He has engineering fees on that. He also wants the city council to authorize bidding for the permanent fix for the Oak Forest project. He's reviewed the document that you all given a report to the city, but he says that there needs to be additional work done on that. And the term I use for myself is I like to walk to the front door. And so he's been very cautious. He also likes to have everything up front so the body would know what they're dealing with. And so the previous work he had done with the mayor, and he submitted a plan to us, which you all should have. It's not in your packet, but I think a previous submitted a plan for approval. And he wanted that to be approved before he continues to go forward.
What is the ordinance number?
I don't think it requires an ordinance. I think it's just approval of the contract because I don't have the contract before me because it's professional services. Professional services don't have to be bid. It's going to be over $5,000. That's what the issue is. I don't know what the total estimate. 5513 is for the work that's previously done on Oak Forest.
So what did we approve on the other thing? We didn't approve nothing on the other thing.
17,000 was for the contractor. This 5,500 is for Mr. Wyland's statement. Mr. Wyland has, for previous work done, he submitted a statement on March 3rd, 2022 to Mayor Smith. It says engineering construction coordination for 22-foot Oak Forest emergency sewer repair. Principal engineered 19.5 hours at $187.50 per hour for a total of $3,656.25. Project representative, 20 hours at $85 an hour, $1,700. Administrative assistant, 3.5 hours at $45 an hour, $157.50. Amount of due for per work order, 22-519, $5,513.75. And that was sent along with a report to the mayor's office. He sent a letter relating to the sanitary overflow corrective action to the mayor with his corrective action plan. Has the council received the corrective action plan?
I've sent everything out, yes, sir, that
Okay.
they gave me.
And so you'll receive the correction action plan with photos, et cetera. These $5,000, if you all would like to see what I have in my hand, I'll gladly show it to you. Ms. Ramsey, that's Ms. Ramsey's copy.
Has he been paid on this?
No, you have to
No.
approve. That's what he's actually be approved
This-
on.
this
That.
what you done?
No, not that. That's that in your hand, Ms. Crockett, was relating to,
We have
I'm looking at the statement here.
I got the statement, but I ain't got them pictures.
Yes, she's also sent this.
Oh,
yes.
And I did it in colors.
Right. Ms. Ramsey sent out the second document Ethel has, those of them Mr. Kenneth Wyland sent out, and he was asking to be paid on the $5,513 engineering fees to his firm. He was also asking that the council look at going ahead and bidding the final project. And he would have to do a scope of work and et cetera, and have a separate contract for the final project. In candor with this body, it's frustrating dealing with a two-headed monster. Now, this is nothing against the council. We keep going in circles because things are not told to the city council. And when you all get them, it's been repetitive over and over and over and over again that you're just seeing the documents. Mr. Wyland, what he wants to do is to make sure that he gives you the information and go forward. And so that you all can finally get the project done. And talking to him, what he wants to make sure is the city is fully in compliance and that we bid it properly and et cetera. And so, but what you have before you is not for future bills, that is current. He has not been approved for a scope of work for anything for the future at this point. He's not brought it before this body. And so Ms. Ramsey sent you all both of those documents. And that's what this is about, is to approve the $5,513.75 for Smith and Wyland and the correction action plan that he has submitted to ADEQ.
So basically what you're saying, he wants us to pay Mr. Wilder for when he was told to wait.
The services he rendered as engineer.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was part of the services when it was supposed to be bidded out at first, before any work was done on it, right?
Correct.
I was just. I want people to get paid, but I don't want people to get paid.
I'm saying, I'm explaining to you what it is,
I understand.
so you all will know what the total is, because it's two separate things. $17,000 that was contracted, $5,000 engineering fees, and they both related to that project. That still has to be a finality to that project, and the city needs to look at what it's going to do on that.
So Keenum didn't do the work, but another contractor came in and did the work. Mr. Wyland, so.
They did the engineering work. You got two separate entities building. The people who physically went in and to do the work, he and them did the engineering part, they examined the line, they did all that to prepare the plan for the contractor to fix it. You had a third-party contractor come in to fix it. He just did the engineering services. The total of, if you're on the table, the total of is $22,000. But I'm just trying to inform you all of what it is. But after I have to leave in 6 minutes, so I was trying to.
I had about 6 more to it, call it 12, but getting still, I have one presentation I need to make, but what are the body's wishes as to those two items? Is any action to be taken or?
I would rather for the mayor to explain.
Okay. Madam Clerk, would you place that on the next meeting agenda?
Is that on the noon agenda or the regular meeting agenda?
Regular.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at my agenda and we have,
One other thing I missed. The last thing for the engineer. He informed me that he gave a project to you all to look at, and you probably will discuss in detail the next meeting. There's going to be some major work have to be done relating to the Helena Bridge. They're supposed to put another bridge there, and the city is going to have to remediate and relocate our sewage and water that's right there on Bisco Street in order for it to work, for them to be able to do so. Mr. Wyland was submitting a plan to the city council for the city council to adopt the moving of that. But
When you gonna do that?
He was supposed to get us some documents. I'll check and see if he's got them to me. We can put it on the next agenda.
Yeah, and it looks like the last two items before we get to new business, which is the water sewer discussion, Highway 49 Bridge relocation project and street repairs, Liberty Highland Summit, Mayor. Looks like we'll need to place those on the next agenda so that we can address those when the mayor is here. And with that, we'll move on to new business. Mr. Franklin, we have 3 items on the agenda. Are you able to engage in any of those?
Into the mayor too.
We absolutely can. Madam Clerk, Mr. Franklin's request, can they be rolled over to the next agenda? Would you roll those over to the next agenda, please? Ms. Crockett, you requested a discussion on Human Resource Department 2022 budget. Is that an item that you can discuss with or without the mayor? Do you want it rolled over to the next?
We can go to the next.
Ms. Davis, you made a request for an update on code enforcement. And is there something that you need to discuss or roll over to the next meeting?
Please roll it over. Thank you.
City Attorney, we have an ordinance regarding financing for the new fire pumper.
No, I do not.
No.
Is it in the packet?
The city attorney hadn't had a chance to look at it. I typed a draft so he could see it, but I didn't get to get it to him. I don't know if he brought it. I'll get it to you.
Can we do that? Go ahead, table for the next meeting. I thought you was already working on it. I apologize.
No, I thought I gave it to him. I don't think I did.
Okay.
I apologize. I can done for the next meeting.
All right, for the record, that will be tabbed on, so that'll just be carried over to the next meeting. The city attorney protocol for opening council meetings to the public.
You all were supposed to discuss opening meetings to the public and what requirements you're going to have. You all will table that too.
Yes, let's put that on the next meeting agenda. And that's going to bring us to the last item, and that is appointments to advertising and promotion commissions. And because these are, we absolutely need to address this now. This the A&P minutes. 2 weeks ago. And nominations for vacancies on the A&P commission. And these are the individuals who were selected to be brought to the council for confirmation. A&P Commission is a 7-member commission. It has 5 members from who are citizens. And then it has 2 members who are from the council. The council is represented by myself and Ms. Davis. And all of the other positions had expired. And so it represents a complete turnover of the commission.
What's the ordinance number on it?
So it was 12, isn't it, Ms. Randall?
Well,
12, and those members who are citizens, as you see them there, there's 4 that are from the industry, people who actually collect the A&P tax. They have to be in the business that collects it, and then there's 1 that's at large. And so these are the ones who were voted on by the body after much deliberation, discussion, and it took 2 meetings. And so is there any, if you have any questions, then myself or Ms. Davis can try to answer your questions on it. Ms. Crockett, you had a question?
We accept the ordinance, put the ordinance number 12 on 3rd and final reading title only.
Suspend rules. Good.
Motion by St. Columbia to place ordinance number 12 on its 3rd and final reading title only. Is that second?
Second.
Second by Crockett. Madam, is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Etherly.
Yes.
Davis. Franklin. Scott, yes.
Ordinance number 12, 2022, an ordinance appointing members to the Helena-West Arkansas Advertising Promotion Commission. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Motion to adopt by St. Columbia, second by Franklin. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Franklin. Yes. Davis. Everly.
Yes.
St. Columbia.
Yes.
Crockett. 5 yes.
Motion, I'm sorry, ordinance passes with no votes. St. Columbia?
Move adjourn.
Motion by St. Columbia to adjourn, is there a second? Second by Crockett, second by Davis, second by Etherly,
Third.
second by Franklin.
Everybody.
Hey, Joe, so glad.